It's the intel about the next generation of Bulldogs. This is Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger.
Let's go, I'm a Bulldog.
Hey there, and welcome into Before the Hedges. Cody Chaffins in for Kaylee Mansell this week. I'm pinch hitting as Kaylee's on high school football duty, and we'll talk a little high school football coming up on the show today. But Jeff, you've had a big week, I hear.
So we went traveling. We were in Augusta last night, Cody, for the annual Augusta Bulldog Club meeting at the Julian Smith Casino. And that group, they like to have a lot of fun, Cody. So, like, every time I go there for their annual meeting, I've been prepped to come with jokes.
So when I hear it went pretty well last night. Apparently, Jeff had a top 10 list. And you know what? I'm not going to let him get away without sharing that top 10 list with us. So all David Letterman style, here is Jeff's top 10. All right, Jeff. So what is the topic for this top 10?
So these are not the top targets. These are the top 10 reasons why maybe all the money, the NIL in college football has gotten a little out of hand.
All right, number 10.
Number 10, Vanderbilt has the number one recruiting class in the SEC, but also the lowest team GPA.
Ooh, all right, like it. Number 9.
Jerry Jones, everybody knows Jerry Jones,
Yep.
right? Dallas Cowboy owner. He asks to put his annual Arkansas booster contribution on a payment plan.
Nice. All right. Number 8 reason.
There are no more cowbells at Davis Wade Stadium. They've all been pawned.
Nice. All right, a little early on the ba-doom. All right, number 7.
Number 7, Kentucky spends as much on its football NIL as its basketball team.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Number 5.
The Texas long snapper drives a Lambo.
All right, where are we? Number 4 reason.
Oregon's football team comes out wearing Adidas.
Ooh, yeah. Just for money. All right. Number 2 reason NIL's out of hand.
Think we're 4.
Oh.
South Carolina recruits compare walking around Williams-Brice to Amen Corner.
Yeah. Okay.
Not going to happen. Number 3, Florida's 5-star QB is in a new ad with Sydney Sweeney.
Very dangerous to be in an ad with Sydney Sweeney nowadays.
He's wearing jean shorts. The Florida joke always hits,
I
right?
love it. I love it.
Number 2, 10 reasons why college football money is out of hand. Number 2, Pat Dye's cabin gets moved to Dubai.
Yes, where all the money is.
And the number 1 reason why college football and the money and the spending is out of hand, North Carolina's 73-year-old football coach has a 24-year-old girlfriend.
A joke that actually has come true.
Sometimes real life is funnier than comedy.
Yes, it is. Well, there you go. That's our top 10 list. I don't know if it'll make like a quick 5 like every week, but I appreciate Jeff bringing the jokes early Before the Hedges today. We got a lot to get to in today's show. Take it through the rundown real quick. We're going to talk about a UGA legacy who has now taken center stage for the class of 2027. All the details on that as we are already looking ahead to the next class. We'll also talk about the AJC Super 11 dog commitments. 4 dogs making the AJC Super 11 commits. We will hear from all of those dogs coming up on the show today. Plus, high school football kicking off this week, kicking off tonight, actually. And so we will give you some games that we have our eyes on around the state as Georgia high school football has, of course, a lot of Georgia recruits and Georgia commits on that list, so Jeff will share those with you. But let's get started here. Jeff, you're telling me a UGA legacy as we look ahead to the 2027 class is right there in the middle.
So you've got DJ Jacobs. Everybody remembers Mark Richt is his godfather. David Jacobs, the great defensive lineman of a generation ago. He's at Blessed Trinity. He's a rising junior. Now everybody's starting to churn on the 2027s, right? Well, David Jacobs is a 5-star. He's now up to 6'5", about 235 pounds. Definitely his name. It bumps up a little higher on the Richter scale after LaDamian Guyton last week, taking all that money to go to Lubbock, Texas, when there's really nothing in Lubbock, Texas whatsoever. So David Jacobs, DJ Jacobs, he's got some visits planned. We'll get into that later. But right now, Cody, to me, you're talking about that short list of the very top targets in the class of 2027. I think you got to really put David Jacobs up there, DJ Jacobs up there.
All right, DJ Jacobs out of Blessed Trinity. Got to catch up with him this week. Let's hear from DJ Jacobs.
Gotten different since June 15th when coaches and schools could reach out to you officially? I believe it was last.
You know what? My world didn't get different, but my phone did. My phone definitely got different. And yeah, I got a lot of text messages. I'm very thankful for it. And yeah, it's a different, I'd say it's like a different like experience, because you know, like they go from not talking, now they're talking. You're like, no way I'm talking to the coach at like Georgia or something like that. Or like, I mean, it's like, that's crazy, honestly, if you think about it.
Didn't Kirby have a slick message for you on the 15th or something like that? What did Coach Smart say to you?
He said, lock me in, your future head coach. And that sounds like Kirby. If you listen to him, you know, lock me in, your future head coach. And he's just chill like that. And yeah, I was very stoked to see it. I didn't believe it. Thought it was I thought it was just one of my friends texted me because I knew it was June 15th or something like that. But no, it was him. So, but it was really cool. Yeah.
Did you notice what happened with LaDainian Kaiden last week?
Yeah, he went to Texas Tech. You know, I'm happy for my guy. You know.
Yeah.
And definitely, that's the best. If that's the best place for him, I'm happy for him. You know, he's a great player. But yeah, man, I'm just happy to see what he does. You know. So yeah.
How do you feel Georgia fits you? I guess that's always been a good fit. I want to know how Georgia is making you feel like it's a better fit than maybe you initially thought.
Georgia? Looking at it, I mean, everyone's like, oh, that's a Nolan Smith right there. I'm like, I'm a little taller, I would say. No offense. But it definitely fits me more, you know, just looking at it. But looking at it because, like, you know, they treat me like family and stuff. And also my dad goes there, so, you know, my parents, and both of them went there, so, you know, they wouldn't have a problem with it. But, you know, I mean, Athens is a great place to be. You know, my parents love it up there. But we'll see where it goes, man. My mind's open to everyone.
Do you think that was a very good Hollywood pose right there? My mind is open to everyone. What do you like best about Georgia, though? Like, what do you think are the biggest boxes it checks for you?
Biggest box it checks for me, it's definitely just really close to home, I would say. That's like, I mean, it can't get bigger than that, I wouldn't say, you know? But that's probably it for my mom.
You feel like there's certain criteria, like the school that you eventually choose is going to have? Like, what are the things that, I guess, are the non-negotiables for you and your college fit?
Non-negotiables? That it's more than just football at their campus. Like, you know, football, you know, that's the only reason why, like, a lot of reason why I can go to college is because of football. But definitely want to see more in life because, you know, football doesn't last forever. And just to have good people on campus, you know. I don't want to go to school with, like, I don't know, people just knowing me for football. You know, I want people to know me for a great guy I am and stuff. That's why that's why I come to BT, you know. Just leave a good mark here. And definitely just the people and coaches talking more about life, you know, and how, like, they got to their place and situation and stuff. So just to help me out. So that was probably the big two. Last time I was up there was scavenger hunt.
Takeaways from that, was that a pretty cool trip?
It was awesome, man. I was put with Khamari, committed to you guys right now. He was cool. It was awesome, man. Just seeing the coaches on the other side of football, you know, I kind of raised the antenna a little bit, so, you know, that was good. But definitely enjoyed it. Had a fun time with the family and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Uzo, is he the guy that recruits you? What's the message that he's always in your ear about? Is it Daribe that's recruiting?
Yeah. I mean, it's not really a message, man. He's just another coach. I mean, I kind of get what you guys say, like, message, but, like, I don't know, they're just kind of talking to me like a normal, another player, man. Like, you know, not like a normal player, but, like, you know, like one of theirs, you know? And, like, I appreciate that because, like, I know, like, everything on social media says 5-star, blah, blah, but I'm still just another person. And I definitely just appreciate how, like, they talk to me more about and they help me break down the game and stuff like that, and it helps me improve out here. You know, out here it kind of it's different because like you're not playing in a loud stadium and stuff. So like kind of the tips they give you is kind of like, oh, it's college, but it doesn't hurt to learn now.
Will you be committed before your senior season?
Before my senior season, I think probably going to my senior season, I probably will commit. After like the official visits and stuff like that. So that'd probably be a good time. I think not after senior season. I don't know.
Yeah, too long for that.
I think spots will be taken. They'll be like, oh no, forget you.
I get the feeling that you're a kid that wants to walk away making that person happy, or at least putting your best self forward. Like, am I reading you correctly?
Yeah, you are. You're completely reading me correct. I definitely want people to see me as very like a guy that you can come talk to. I know I'm big. I may have a little RBF going for my dad, but definitely like kind guy. I just want to make sure everyone's happy and everyone knows that they matter. And that's definitely a big takeaway for me. It's definitely just like making sure everyone's okay. You never know what they're going through.
DJ Jacobs, super personality. I think he's going to win Mr. Blessed Trinity High School. He should. If it doesn't, we need a recount on that. DJ, always thank you for your time, sir.
Appreciate it big time, and you have a blessed day.
I feel like he's a guy we're going to hear a lot from over the next year as we look ahead. And resting bulldog face is what he said. RBF, right? Resting bulldog face. I think about David Jacobs Sr., and you talked about, played in 2001, suffered a stroke, but he was a monster on the end. 6'4", 275 is what David Jacobs played at. But DJ Jacobs, as we look, the video of him, I kind of seen him. We showed the video earlier of 2024 G-Day. He was there, and I guess he was just a freshman back then. But, man, he looks put together when you look at the video you had there, right there.
He's put on probably like 15 pounds, but he's moved it around. He's lifting a lot of weights now. I think he's bench pressing over 300. He's squatting over 400. His power clean's right at 300 as well. Lots of little things to like about him, Cody. His middle name is Maximus. He's not David Jacobs Jr. It's just the initials there. And yes, Maximus is after. Are you not entertained? They just wanted a powerful middle name. Mom and dad are both dogs, big-time dogs. Mark Richt is his godfather. Now, here's some recruiting intel that people want to hear. He's going to visit Florida State, Alabama, week 1. That's his first kind of game visit. Okay. He's got scheduled. He also wants to see, it's already circled, dog fans will like this one, Alabama at Georgia in September as well. So that's one that's on his mind. He also wants to see Texas A&M and Florida. So those are some early dates that the Team Jacobs has circled right now.
As a junior, you can't blame it. So many of these recruits, I'm like, if I had the chance to go to the best college football game of the week every week, I would go. But those definitely seem like the contenders. And it sounded like from him, it will probably be next summer that we're expecting his big decision. Yeah,
he said he wants to take his official visits first, and then he'll make the decision. July-ish, June-ish. That's the new traditional timeline now, Cody. I think it's interesting. You listen to him, and did you catch him being a little coy? I talked to him about that's a Hollywood face where he's like, maybe I might go to this school. He's really kind of gun shy about top schools. I even asked him if Georgia would get an official yet. Wasn't sure. It doesn't seem like they're looking too far ahead. And he did notice, Cody, a distinction in he's like, everybody else is paring it down. They're deciding. Damian Guyton did. Down to top 5s, top 10s. He's not there yet. So he's going to take some time. He's going to figure all this out.
And just because he is a Georgia legacy, is this more slam dunk feeling? How are you? We don't have dogometer yet, but it's very early. But how do we feel? I mean, obviously he's been to Georgia a lot growing up.
He has. And did you hear what he said about Kirby Smart? June 15th was the first time that schools could reach out directly to his class, and Kirby Smart said, just lock me in as your future head coach. That's a Kirby way of doing thing, a little slick recruiting thing right there. I think mom and dad and him growing up at Georgia means a whole lot, and I asked him what's the number one thing Georgia's got going for it. I think it was a real answer when he said, well, it's the closest to home. It's the closest to mom. And if I'll play the game. If we were doing dogometer right now, Cody, I would say he's definitely in the lab territory. Okay. Maybe one stage away from full-blown dog because, listen, guys, Georgia has a big head start on all these schools. Tennessee's a school he'll talk to because Rodney Garner is there, the guy who coached his father in college. USC, he's got a family connection. Former Falcon Lynn Kane is actually his grandfather. He went to USC, and he likes Texas A&M. He's visited Florida State. right now it looks like, Cody, if you want to read between the lines, the schools that he visits are the schools that he likes.
And it seems like Georgia, like you brought up with Guyton, and he knew all about Guyton, right? Like knew what was going on there. But it's become even more of a priority to get DJ Jacobs in Athens after one of those chips in that 27 class playing on the defensive line has already made a commitment.
I think there's two more things. Number one, the Coach Ed Dudley, who's been all across the state at Blessed Trinity. Is he at
BT now?
Yeah, he's at BT.
He's been everywhere.
He's been at Walton. He's been at Ware County. I think he's been at Buford as well. Like, he's got the patches on the suitcase right there, the moving truck award. He says he's never really been around a kid quite like DJ Jacobs. Like, the spirit, you're talking about 40 years of coaching here almost. Like, the spirit, he feels like he's Tim Tebow on the Blessed Trinity campus.
Wow.
Got such a big spirit. I mean, he's the guy that it seems like gives tours to people that come through. Always got a smile, like he said there. And then, also with him, he's a guy that, I think Georgia absolutely has to have in this class right now. We can say that, but is any bigger than it was Tyler Atkinson was a year ago? No. Right. But when you only take one edge this year in Khamari Brooks, and then you were expected likely to get either Guyton or Jacobs as that stellar 5-star in the state for 2027. Well, the odds have gotten a little bit lower about getting one of those two. Cody, to answer the reporter's question in the room, I do think David Jacobs has probably already seen, DJ Jacobs has already going to seen or hear or get whispers of $1 million per year, much like what LaDamian Guyton did as well. It remains to be seen if the Dogs will get a homegrown discount.
Okay, we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on that. You know what? Next year, DJ Jacobs will probably, we can go ahead and pencil it in, be on the AJC's Super 11. It's a list that's come out for 40 years now, always includes a bunch of dogs. We're going to hear from the dogs on this year's list coming up in just a minute. But before we do, I want to remind you that Before the Hedges each and every week here on DawgNation, brought to you by Kroger. And Kroger has come in clutch for the Chaffins family as all the kids have gone back to school now, and we're preparing lunches again, and all of a sudden, we're running all over doing dad taxi and mom taxi. And so being able to hop on the Kroger app and just fill out that grocery list and just at the end of the day say, send it to my front door. And we open the door and there are those beautiful blue bags coming in a refrigerated truck because we are Kroger Boost members in the Chaffins household. So we were always get our free delivery on orders over $35. We're also getting double the fuel points as we drive all over the place. I'll be going to Athens a lot more and hitting that Kroger right there on the loop. There's a Kroger fuel center that I always fill up at. So doing all that by being a Kroger Boost member, you can become a Kroger Boost member. Try it free for 30 days, see if you like it. But Kroger.com/boost is where you can sign up to be a Kroger Boost member today. All right, so I had the privilege recently of being able to help out the Atlanta Journal-Constitution as they put together their 40th Super 11, 40 years of Super 11. I think it's the 41st list of Super 11 players. 4 Georgia Bulldogs making the cut this year, Jeff.
I mean, it's a good group. Every year, we did the gamut. We did some research, Cody, and normally a high year is about 5 or 6 out of the 11. This year, they got 4. It's a weird year. No quarterbacks. Not as much, down south Georgia boys as in years past. Some years you get like Elias Williams at Camden County. Right. You get, all the talents at Lee County, Valdosta. This year it was kind of more metro-based. We had some Jonesboro action right here, but there are 4 dogs in the class, and they're 4 very, very good ones.
Yeah, so I had, I'm usually in the control room for Before the Hedges presented by Kroger, and over the last year, have heard a lot about Craig Dandridge. I've heard a lot about Khamari Brooks. Those two, we brought you their commitment ceremonies live on the air, as we did for Ty Boogie and Kaiden Prothro, and they are all on this year's AJC Super 11 list. So I got to go around, and I did the interviews for the AJC's video and shot the video of all these guys doing a little practice on the field. And it was very cool to meet these guys, and in some cases their families, and spend a little time with just these faces I had seen on video and get to know them a little bit better.
Cody, which one of these guys passes the eyeball test for you? Is there one that's just like, okay, that's a dude?
I will tell you that, obviously meeting Kaiden Prothro, and he stands up so tall, in person, and Khamari Brooks like swallows your hand when you try to shake his hand. But Craig Dandridge, who I've seen on your video, was much bigger in person than I expected. So he actually stood out for me a little bit. We had seen this video from some of these Corky Kell 7-on-7s. Jeff, I know you were out at practice a little bit, so we'd seen all this video of him. And then I got to see him in person, and I'm shooting this video as he like jumps right in front of me. And we also did a thing here where he was kind of exploding in and out of these cuts, and he runs past me, and I realize, yeah, I would never have a prayer of stopping a guy like this. He is super explosive, and Coach wanted to show off his height and the way he can jump. Another thing I really liked about Craig Dandridge, the receiver out of Cambridge, I asked him, I said, hey man, when you think about Georgia receivers, who do you think of? Listen to his answer.
When you think about Georgia receivers, who do you think about?
Pickens, Terrence Edwards, and Reggie Brown. Reggie Brown was actually my old receiver coach. So just being able to talk to them about like the legacy that they had at Georgia, how they developed the receiver position, how they develop players in general, man, it's incredible.
As an old guy, that's like the list I would give. Pickens, yeah, because he's a recent, but then Terrence Edwards and Reggie Brown, like that's the answer I wanted to hear from Craig Dandridge, and he gave it.
Cody, the word is smooth, like Carlos Santana smooth, and you were talking about his cuts. The way he's able to get in and out of his breaks without losing speed and losing acceleration and maintain his top gear right there, that's what sets him apart. And he had a monster junior year, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, big spots in big games. And like a lot of people wonder, like, what does it take to be a Super 11? Well, there's an unofficial formula. Number one is you got to make plays. That means you got to be an all-state type guy, an all-region top guy, maybe a region player of the year. And then you got to have the college offers, the interest that goes along with it. Now, that's not the exact formula. There's lots of ways to become a Super 11, but that's a pretty good way to do it. If you put up stats, you're all-state, and you got offers from everybody in the country, I think you're almost there on the Super 11-ometer.
I asked him a little bit as well. I'd heard from you that he had took care of business in the classroom, got that Stanford offer, but he said at the end of the day it was Georgia. So I asked him the question, why Georgia?
What Coach Smart is building over there and what he has done in the past, I feel like that's a program that I can really trust, and I can see myself going wherever I want to go, whether that be in the business world or whether that be on the football field. Oh man, Coach Coley, well, I say he's probably the smartest receiver coach I've ever been around. I mean, the way he breaks down the defenses to the receivers in the meetings, it's like he's basically giving you free game on how to like win the route. And the stuff he's built with Zachariah Banks, Kobe Young, CJ Wiley's up there now, Ethan Barbour playing a little bit of tight end and receiver. I feel like they got a really good shot at, making a deep run in the playoffs and go for another natty.
The knowledge is there and the appreciation for what's going on, not only with the receiver answer, but with what Kirby has built there and James Coley. It seems like he has a great perspective on things.
I think smooth also applies to how he handles himself in front of a camera and with a reporter's question. He was outstanding in every interview setting I've ever had with him.
All right, the other thing I did with all these guys, and we'll go through all of them, I asked them kind of an off-the-wall question. Who are you away from football? This may be the most interesting answer we got on the whole trail.
I'm really just a hard-working, disciplined kid that, stays out the way, likes to focus on my craft, focus on what I got going on, and everything else will come second. I'm really out the way. I really actually like reading books sometimes, Harry Potter series. Really also Diary of a Kid was one of my favorite books growing up. So just being able to do stuff like that. Also picking up golf a little bit, a little bit of golf. Not really great yet, but I'll be there.
You're a Gryffindor, are we a Hufflepuff, what was Slytherin, what house are we?
Man, I wanted to be Gryffindor. I actually took the test with my sister when I was 8 years old and I got Hufflepuff. I have to revisit it, but not my proudest moment, but I own it for now.
I don't want to pat myself on the back. I'm Grady School of Journalism. I'm asking the tough questions out there.
I mean, what is that? Slytherin would have to be Florida, right? Is that the equivalent?
Yeah, just a bad.
What's Hufflepuff? Is that like innocent little?
I think that's what it is. It's like it's not a mean dude, and it's not he's not a front runner. He hadn't had the offer since 8th grade. He's gone through some adversity there, so he says he's not super proud of it, but he is a Hufflepuff at the end of the day. So
man,
that was Craig Dandridge.
get him in whatever Harry Potter's wizardry he went to. Put him in that one, man, because he's Gryffindor, right?
And he gave me Chris Conley vibes because Conley was such a Star Wars nerd.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have a Harry Potter nerd, and maybe I'll have a great career at Georgia as well. All right, then I went to Buford. University of Buford, got to see the incredible $62 million stadium over there and the facilities they've got. But Tyreek Green, Ty Boogie, is the man they call him. And another commitment ceremony we carried live. But the first question you got to ask Ty Boogie, what's up with the nickname?
I got my nickname Ty Boogie from my dad from like when I first started playing football. He said like, because I started off playing quarterback, so like when I just like run the ball all the time. So like he got the Boogie thing because he was like, when I'm running the ball, it's like I'm on a dance floor. So like he just put because they always call me Ty. So he just added the Boogie, so it's Ty Boogie. Yeah, I've been running with it since I was 6, since I started playing football. So, like, that's what a lot of people know me as, by Ty Boogie.
So, Ty Boogie,
Love that.
He plays both sides of the ball, which is really, and 3 sides of the ball, special teams as well. But he's a guy who can get it done. What was he, 5 interceptions last year, 8 rushing touchdowns. He's a big, thick dude, one of many people we could have chosen at Buford, but really impressive prospect between the lines.
Would you endorse this, Cody? Like, let's say he makes a play at Georgia, pick 6, puts it in the end zone. Does Boogie Shoes playing over the PA, does that work for
put on
my Boogie Shoes?
Boogie Wonderland, right? You can do a lot with that. I love it.
When kind of researching him, like he's been at Buford for a couple years now. KJ Bolden was in his ear a little bit, barking about the dogs. This guy actually was at Kell High School when he started out his career in high school. But like the things you heard from other coaches in the region, other coaches in the state, they worry about him at running back. They worry about him in the return game. They worry about him as a defender. I mean, Cody, he had a 107-yard interception return. Nobody does that. Nobody does that in high school football. He's just, wait for it, a football player, and Kirby Smart does a good job with those guys in his program.
All right, you can be a serious football player, but again, that's not going to stop me from asking the crazy questions.
Growing up, I always like insects and like animals and stuff. So like, I think I'll probably like look into stuff like that.
So what is that? When you were little, what does that mean? Does that mean you're bringing stuff in the house? Does that mean you're going outside with a magnifying glass? What does that look like? Yeah,
I used to bring like little bugs that they call roly-polies. Mm-hmm. I used to bring those, like I used to put them in my pockets and bring them in the house. And like, so like every time I used to come in the house, my mom used to tell me empty my pockets out.
Where did that go? How did it start? I mean, just the natural interest?
I don't know. Me and my cousin, my younger cousin, me and her, we used to like always pick up bugs like worms and stuff like that.
Never grossed you out? I mean, some people can't. Like anything that crawls icks them out, no?
Nah.
So there you go, right? Roly-polies, pockets full of roly-polies. So like so many stories you get on Before the Hedges is what I love, right? We just leave these guys on Saturdays eventually, and he won't be the dentist or the Chick-fil-A guy. He'll be the roly-poly man.
First of all, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to expand our mutual Grady knowledge here. Hawks eat worms, correct? Don't hawks eat worms?
Hawks eat worm, yeah.
So he is a ball hawk. So it's very, very, very interesting that ball hawk Ty Boogie Green was very interested in snatching worms and roly-polies when he was a kid because he grew up to be a ball hawk.
All right, so I did ask him a Georgia question as well. Don't worry.
Close to home, my family be able to come to all the home games, and then like just like their history of putting like defensive guys in the league and like their development of like putting safeties, corners, or whatever they need in the league. So like that played like a big role. And then like my relationship with Coach T-Rob and Coach Kirby and all them up there. Every time somebody see me, they'll be like, "Go Dogs."
Yeah, so he's seen the fan base kind of rally around him. So plays both sides, going to be more of a defender at the next level.
Yeah, he is. And Georgia's got oodles and oodles of safety. That's like Kirby Smart's pockets on the recruiting trail. He's going to pull out like 4 All-American safeties in this recruiting class. And I think Buford University, they're definitely in double digits right now with Super 11 players. And folks, Ty Boogie is a good one.
All right, so moving on. Ty Boogie, the same time he committed was the same day Kaiden Prothro committed over in Bowden, Georgia. Kaiden Prothro, like I said, you walk in and you see him in person, and he's giant. Also got to talk to his dad a little bit. I'd also seen him 3 state titles at the Georgia Dome, or at the Georgia Dome. How old am I? Mercedes-Benz Stadium over the years, and got to talk to him a little bit. And the first thing I wanted to ask about, we talked about the commitment ceremony we watched live here, and the coolest part was after the commitment ceremony, Kaylee accidentally just kind of left the camera up and rolling, and we had about 45 minutes where he was standing there taking photos with every single person in Bowden who wanted a photo. So I'm like, dude, what's up with this magic moment?
Really just making sure everybody feels loved, because, you know, I wouldn't be here without them. You know, them just caring for our football team and how much they put into this program, and how much we put into Bowden, and just really them coming out there to show that they support me. It means a lot to me, because I know they have my back, and no matter what I do, they'll be there for me. I went to preschool here, so my dad went to high school here. So I've been around football. You know, he coached here, and I've been around some great coaches and some great football players around the years, and I feel like that's just helped me build me up to who I am. And just the time I've been here has really been great, just being around the players and just looking up to them my whole life, because when I was a kid, I knew I looked up to be a Bowden Red Devil and play high school football, and now it's just I'm the high school player, and I know kids are looking up to me.
He is that great classic football story where he was those little kids running around with jerseys playing football on the sidelines and in the end zones, and then all of a sudden he's admiring those Bowden Red Devils that are older, and all of a sudden he becomes one, and he ain't forgot where he's come from. I was really, really impressed with Kaiden Prothro.
Look at that. Looks like a shampoo commercial. Look at the locks.
He's
bobbing
Troy
up and down.
Polamalu, head and shoulders call him.
Cody, I got to give you some flowers here, man. I was going to wait until the end of this segment, but it already needs to be said. The prettiest video so far in Before the Hedges history. We've already hit the quota right there. The camera, the skill, like what you got doing with these guys. It is fun to watch. We've never had as much great video on an episode of Hedges as we've already got today. We've got another profile to do as well, but I got one nugget here on Kaiden Prothro. You ask Kaiden Prothro, his dad was a baseball player, played at Jacksonville State in Alabama, right? When he was growing up, he wanted to play for Georgia. Plot twist. He wanted to be a catcher on the baseball team. Close enough. He's a dog. Now he's a catcher on the football team. So look at those locks. He's a 3-time state champion. It's one Georgia absolutely had to win. Now, wait for it. Sideline it for a little bit. Story to be resolved later. Will he be a tight end, or will he be a wide receiver at Georgia? Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's the big question. He is a big, long, tall target, but what will he be? And that was a question I asked him, because he does play both at Bowden. He plays safety at Bowden as well. Yeah. But I asked him, tight end versus wide receiver, what do you consider yourself?
I'd probably say it's kind of like a combination of the both, receiving tight end that catches the ball and then can block. Really just because most tight ends are big, they can't really move. I'd say I'm like the more receiving type tight end that can split out wide and do what more of a receiver can in the standpoint of that, and also go in and block some. So
you got to me, I start thinking like Elias Williams a year ahead of him, and him. You got the twin tower. I mean, you got to have these two guys on the outside. If you run up in 12 personnel, how about these two tight ends in the red zone?
I think dog fans, they need to watch Noah Thomas this year. Same kind of frame, same kind of burn, real fast. And that might be a good Xerox there for Kaiden Prothro, because Kaiden went to the Under Armour All-American camp back in January. And for that bowl game, for the first time, they allowed juniors, because it's really hard to get seniors in that game. He works out at receiver all week. No tight end, works out receiver all week. A couple of those days, he was named a top performer in the MVP of the entire day of practice, strictly playing receiver. So let's put that in the back of our heads and think about that when he gets to Georgia. I mean, really, to me, Cody, if he's 255 and 250 on that 6'6" frame, then he'll be a tight end. But if his weight stays around 220, 230, he's probably 218, 220 right now. If he doesn't get too heavy, then he'll be a receiver. He puts on a lot of groceries. He eats a lot of that Kroger Boost groceries, and then he'll likely play tight end with his hand in the dirt.
Yeah, and Georgia will find ways to get him the football, no doubt about that. All right, my last one, we had a red and black tight end right there in Kaiden Prothro, but also on the AJC Super 11 list this year is Khamari Brooks, who is a tight end. We know him better as an outside linebacker at North Oconee High School. I got to visit with him a little bit. He's another guy really impressive when you meet him in person, because I'd actually called a North Oconee game from the press box last year. and you just don't get the size. You can't really figure out how huge these guys are. But I got to see him. And, one thing I've gathered from the stories you've done on Khamari Brooks so far is, you really get how close Bogart, Georgia is to Athens, Georgia. His mom went to Clark Central, so they got really close Athens connections right there. And so you talked about he gets over there a lot. So I asked him about going to UGA and how often he actually gets to do that.
I go down there a lot, to be honest. I've been there. I was there for I think 20 practices, so I showed up a lot, kind of to be able to see what they have going on, their day-to-day process. I went to class with CJ Allen one time, so I feel like I went through the process of kind of what they do in a day, but obviously that's going to be hard. Coming from high school to college, it's a different game down there. So I feel like just giving my mental to where I just know what I have to do and ask the older guys that have been through what I already have to go through, just keep working at that, so I'll be all right when I get there.
So I feel like the new guys, sometimes they got to learn the drills and they got to learn. He knows it all by now, right? 20 practices.
I think people get worked up when they hear KJ Bolden took like 15 to 18 visits. Well, I tell you what, KJ did not see 20 practices like Khamari did. He told me once he has it figured out, the amount of stoplights, how long it should take for him to get from his front door to Buttsmere to the House of Pain. And that was the guy. Georgia said, we need one edge. We took so many in the last class. Chase Linton, Isaiah Gibson, and so forth. And they were like, that's our guy. They centered on him, the one edge they wanted, and Uzo Daribe reeled him in.
You see that North Oconee T that on the jersey right there in the middle, and it kind of, for now, it also makes me think of another thing. It's that hat that David Pollock wears all over the place is North Oconee. David Pollock, of course, on the coaching staff at North Oconee, has known Khamari Brooks for a very long time. I wanted to get more details on that relationship.
I mean, I've known him since I think second grade, maybe third grade. So he's known me for a very long time. But obviously, he gives me different keys because he's seen it, he's been through it, he understands the game very much. But it's not as he's my outside linebacker coach. He actually doesn't coach me as much as other people think. He's actually assistant D-line coach up here. People would think he's a head D-line coach, the actual outside linebacker coach. He's assistant D-line coach, but he might say assistant, but he also helps us out a lot when it comes to different things that he sees with hands or O-line, like how tight they are, how heavy they are in the hands. So he helps out a lot with those things. And on Friday nights, he gets very excited for us.
Yeah, is it more technique stuff or more mentally how to prepare stuff?
More technique stuff, I would say, with him. After I said, pass rush stuff that he sees. Make sure you get in your hand placed in the right place, eyes in the right place. So I say with him, it's mostly like technique stuff that he likes to help us out with out here.
How great is that to have a mentor who has been there, done that, but it's not like, hey man, really work hard, stay at it. No, he's like actually inch by inch, here's where your hands need to be. See how that lineman's lining up. You can tell if he's pulling or not. All of those kind of details that he's getting from David Pollock's really impressive.
I think, first of all, love that shot. You've got the blocking dummy in the background. That's just his mentality. That's what he is. The B-roll here is great, but the Pollock story, this is where it gets good, Cody. David Pollock was coaching Little League football, right? And his team was playing another team. Khamari Brooks was the star on that team. And he was like, to use a very colorful language, he was like, how in the blue blazes is this guy reading all of our plays? He figured out their offense. He figured out where every play was going. Like David had like armbands and everything for these 8, 9, 10-year-olds or whatever. And he comes over to him and he's like, talks to him about football. And he's like, I got to get him on my team. I got to get him playing for my little league team. And soon enough, Khamari Brooks was playing with David Pollock. David Pollock used this word to describe him when I interviewed him about Khamari, I believe back at the Dog Bowl last year. He said, brilliant. That's the word he used to describe how intelligent of a football player Khamari Brooks is. And that's kind of bearing the lead because this guy was an all-state basketball player. He's won 2 basketball championships as a major force for the Titans. And he's also a member. He basically took over the entire state championship game against Marist last year in the Benz on the football side of things. So guy's a winner. Guy's really smart. Guy is an ideal Georgia guy.
10 sacks last year. Also had 8 touchdowns as a tight end as well. Now, the other cool part about this, and I kind of mentioned, I got to meet so many families. Like Ty Boogie, his mom and his aunt were at the interview. So I got to talk to them a little bit about what it's been like. Kaiden Prothro's dad, I talked to a lot about what it's been like with Kaiden growing up and how he gets pushed and pulled in different ways. And then also Khamari Brooks' mom was there. Now, I know in the commitment ceremony, you guys came home with, props. What was it, a bag that she had created? And I asked Khamari about his relationship with his mom and all of this stuff that she is creating.
My mom. You go see her with a different shirt on every week, a different jersey every week, some custom item that she made at home. So I'll definitely say that's my biggest fan because she goes all out every game day to put on the best fit that she can.
Is it ever too much? Do you ever tell her, hey?
Nah, man, that's her passion. I let her do what she do. I love it. You get to see the jerseys that she makes. She posts them on Instagram, and a lot of people like to buy them from her because they see the amazing job that she does with that. It's like I'm on the sideline, not like during the game, but if I'm on the sideline, she like yells my name. I know where they sit at, so I could definitely hear her voice. But she been
yelling a lot?
She yells the whole game. I've been hearing her voice since, I don't know, since I started playing sports. She's always the loudest one. She has a loud scream that people don't really like to hear when it comes to opposing teams. So definitely I hear her voice a lot.
It was so funny talking, and his mom was like standing right there. Then we asked mom. I said, "Oh, are you like the?" She said, "Actually, it's grandma who is the loudest, and especially at basketball games, which you can imagine. Basketball, you're right on top of the court. So it said grandma was actually. So if you're in that corner of Sanford Stadium in the coming years, you will hear the Brooks cheering section, I'm sure."
Well, I tell you, man, like, first of all, she had a bag of chips. She had bottled waters. She had shirts. They had banners. I believe they had candy engraved or whatever. Like, mom, don't play. And that's an all A+ mom right there. And you know what? It's really cool to see that relationship up close. And, you know, Khamari's a pretty smart man. He's like, yeah, I'm going to let her do what she wants because that's my mom.
And I said, because of this tight relationship with your mom and your brother and your grandmother, is that the reason you're staying? He said, no, they let me make my own decision. He came to Georgia on his own. So that was his decision there. So I was looking at all those guys, and it was really a great group to get to know, those four dogs on the AJC Super 11.
Four really good ones. Let me ask you, who do you think out of those guys, who do you think has the best college career? If you had to put it in the time capsule, who do you think has the best career?
I feel like the offensive guys, it's tougher. Like you're a lot of factors. Like so, Kaiden and Craig Dandridge, how many balls will they get thrown? That's kind of the question. So I'll go with one of the defensive guys. I'll say Khamari. I'm excited about Khamari. I think he's a big dude. He can do it. Not to say Ty Boogie couldn't, but I do like. We'll see what Khamari Brooks. We'll be talking about him for years to come.
I think. That's my answer too, and it's not just because I've heard so many great things, and he's been at his best when his best was required in all these championship events. He just feels to me just like so much like a Georgia guy, and we've seen that script unfold over and over and over. Like, I mean, maybe Craig Dandridge is the best one to take to media days because he is a great, well-spoken kid. He cares, he gets it, and he's one of those players that's coming into Georgia that won't have to be de-recruited because he didn't have any offers a short time ago. He didn't have any offers in like 4 or 5 months ago, and now he went from that to where he is now.
Yeah, he had broken bones, and like he told me, like 7th, 8th, 9th grade, like year after year, he kept getting broken bones, and it's why he didn't burst onto the scene until his junior year. Excited to see all of those guys this year on the field. Some of those guys will be on the field in a matter of hours. Some of these guys in a matter of days as high school football is getting started here in just a couple days. In a minute, we're going to give you some games to watch. Do want to remind you to subscribe to our DawgNation YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. You can also ask for notifications. So next time we're doing a commitment. Next time there is some breaking news. Every time DawgNation Daily or On the Beat Monday nights with Cody Chaffins and Mike Griffith. Like my plug.
I hear that's a good show.
You can subscribe and watch us there as well. Even DawgNation at large on Thursdays. We're going to have more shows as we get into football season as well. So be sure to subscribe to our DawgNation YouTube channel. All right. So next week, we'll probably have a return of Kaylee Mansell, which is good. But also the return of Mansell's details and what she's seen from some of these Georgia recruits actually playing football because the 2025 season is here high school football-wise, and we're excited about it, Jeff. There's a lot of dog commits, and folks, people will be watching. You in particular will be watching this week.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be at Prince Avenue Christian versus Callaway tonight at Kell. You get to see another Georgia legacy a little bit there. Prince Avenue's running back Andrew Beard, that's a nephew of Garrison Hurst.
And first game for John Richt, right?
First game for John Richt as well. I mean, listen, Beard, he's put on probably like 10, 15 pounds. He's gone from more that scat back type to a guy now that's 5'10", 195. And Georgia uses the DeAndre Swift comparison. The nightcap tonight, I think Brandon Adams is on the call, our very own DawgNation Daily. That's Tyler Chukum, the South Paulding, Florida commit.
They're
that
trying
Georgia's
to flip, right?
Trying to flip. And then I'll be at the Taj Mahal. That's what I'm going to call it in Buford because 62 million very well spent. Buford versus Milton. So that's Buford's number 2 in 6A right now. Milton is number 1 in 5A. That's a powerhouse matchup to open. ESPN is going to be televising that thing.
Yeah, Clark Central at Cedar Shoals as well. I think about our late friend Quentin Moses, who played in that game. He said, that's like Georgia, Florida for us. Clark Central and Cedar Shoals, the Battle of Athens. Anthony Lonnan, of course, are going to be in there on Thursday. It's a whole week because the games are starting on Wednesday this week. And then Friday, your guy Jay Lamar taking on Benedictine, where that put out Thomas Blackshear, and LaDamian Guyton is on that team as well on Friday. So a lot of really good games Friday and Saturday as well.
Recent millionaire LaDamian Guyton. Let's look at that screen. These are the ones that we kind of think are the ones that are the quick pick. Make sure the Buford game on ESPN on Thursday. Not only is he going to see the stadium, you see 2 Georgia commits at Buford. That's Ty Boogie and Roly Poly Central. Ty Boogie Green, Tyree Green, but also Graham Houston. No relation to Colton Houston, the offensive lineman, 2 Georgia commits. And while we're on that theme, Woodward Academy always has a stout roster. Carrollton also with 2 Georgia commits. Yeah. Ryan Mosley, the wide receiver, and Zyke Helton, the offensive lineman.
So stuff to watch there. And then Saturday, Corky Kell goes to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You got Brookwood at Houston County, and Houston County, of course, with the dog on there. North Gwinnett, those Bulldogs taking on Douglas County on Saturday.
Yeah, the other thing to look for there, you got Jordan Smith, but you've got, for Brookwood, you've got Tyson Chandler, a talented running back. His father actually played at Georgia. He's a legacy as well. He told me he wants to go over 3,000 yards this season. I was like, come on, Hoss, why don't you just roll your sleeves up and have a goal? 3,000 yards.
You better play 15 games.
Yeah, and so Brookwood, he's a big back. Really like him. He likes Georgia. Georgia's already going to get an official visit. He's hearing a lot from Texas. But then also North Gwinnett, Zach Lewis, that's a Georgia offensive line commit. Douglas County has a Florida State commit. They have a Texas A&M commit. But I'll have my eyes on Joshua Sam Appel. He's a junior, 6'8", 345 pounds. Georgia offered him eons ago. He's feeling the love from the Dogs as well. That's going to be a name to watch in that game as well.
All right, so really great games coming up. And Kaylee, like I said, we'll have some of the highlights that'll start flowing through as we get Mansell's details back on the program next week. One thing that's on the program each and every week, we're still going to give you the class breakdown. Not a lot changing with this Georgia class, pretty locked in until some flips happen here or there. But for the first part, we will give you the 2026 class breakdown on offense. Jared Curtis there at quarterback. We talked about Jay Lamar in action this week at running back. We got the 3 wide receivers. All of these guys in the state of Georgia. Going to be fun to watch. Brady Marchese, Ryan Mosley, Craig Dandridge this year.
Looking at that, I know there's a popular question because I'm going to get out to Jared Curtis's first game. Unfortunately, Tennessee's not as ball crazy, especially private school Tennessee is the GHSA. Got a couple more weeks before his season debut right there. And, go across the list, you got a North Carolina offensive tackle. There's the offensive lineman we just mentioned. All 3 of them are in action on our games to watch this week as well.
All right, let's check out the defense. Again, no changes on the list here, at least for right now. Justice Fitzpatrick, one of the names on there we've talked a lot about. Khamari Brooks, there you see the edge in the 26 class.
Look at those, like that Dave Chappelle gif. You got any of them defensive linemen right there? With Georgia's got a lot of those. They're stuffing their pockets with roly-polies of defensive linemen. Zach Fort, Keelan Jones, Jordan Smith. You mentioned Justice Fitzpatrick. We're writing about him this week on DawgNation.com because given what's happened with Chase Calicut, he becomes even more vital. Texas and Miami are still pulling for the flip, but there's some pretty strong roots there with Kirby Smart and his older brother, Minka Fitzpatrick.
And let's take a look at the special teams as well. Giving Wade Register and Heron Zerkat giving some love as well. There's your special team class breakdown. The top targets look like this. Again, stuff we talked about on the show a whole lot last week. Folks that maybe could be flipping from where they're already committed.
So right here, top targets again. We start out, another name we've mentioned earlier in the show, playing tonight actually in the Corky Kell, Tyler Chookham. Big Chew is what everybody calls him. Georgia's going to try to flip him away from those mighty Gators. He's going to likely give Georgia an official visit. That's about the only school he's going to open the door of his recruiting just a little bit. Amari Latimer, of course, is a big-time running back out of Sandy Creek, strong program there. And then rounding it out, you got Fletcher Turk, a guy that took his official visit to Georgia. I think things with Turk might heat up a little little bit late because he doesn't seem like he's in any hurry, depending on how things go with Georgia and Tyler.
All right, recruiting snapshot for this 2026 class is pretty good looking. Number one nationally, 12 on offense, 17 defense. We talked about the 2 special team, 16 in-state, 15 out. That's pretty good balance right there. And you've got 8 beyond the SEC footprint, which continues to get bigger and bigger, by the way, but 31 total commits for this top-ranked class.
I don't think it stays at 31. I think there'll be some attrition. I think Georgia might add maybe one more. There's always some flip season action coming right now. But as it stands right now, we always like to point these things out. 31 high school signees would be a new record, a new milestone for the Kirby Smart era in Athens.
And that record, is that because the scholarship limit we're anticipating going up?
Yeah, there's a bunch of players. I wouldn't say a bunch. Let me retract that. There's a few players in this class that I look at them as 105 guys now, guys that maybe would have been a preferred walk-on before, maybe some of the specialists and other things, but Georgia knows it has to get close to 105, and there's some talents there that will help them do that.
All right, really good stuff. I appreciate Kaylee letting me sit in her seat this week, and I'm glad I had something to share as we got to see all of those Super 11 guys, but high school football is back, which means, Jeff, I guess you're always on the road, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's a busy week. This is what you sit there and can't wait for. These are the stories you love. Man, I got to thank you for all that great video and all that insight on the Super 11 guys. I mean, Before the Hedges is better when we got Cody Chaffins' ace video all over it.
All right. I appreciate you guys joining us today. We'll have a lot more next week, including talking more ball. It is Before the Hedges, presented by Kroger.
Trying to reach the next level. I want the best in life I never see.